Okay, kind of an update from a couple of days ago, and it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are targeting Todd Monken. I want to talk about this for a little bit of time. This according to reporting from the NFL Network. I'm going to talk about what Ian Rappaport said. He said that Todd Monken is, quote, one name to watch for the open job. He's also Todd Monken has been discussed apparently, according to reporters, about the a couple other jobs in the NFL too. So it's not exclusive to Tampa, but let's not forget that he was the offensive coordinator for a time with the Buccaneers. Now there's some issues here. There's a couple of issues, frankly. Number one, uh, nobody really knows what's going to happen with Tom Brady. This is total speculation on my part. I do not think that Tom Brady is going to be back in Tampa. What the bulk of the speculation is. So if there's speculation, I'm not sure that that's the greatest situation for Todd to get himself into. But on top of that, um, you know, Todd Bowles is the head coach at Tampa. And I think he's on thin ice in Tampa Bay right now. Here's what he had to say this morning. He said, or this afternoon, excuse me. He said that we appreciate the hard work and contributions that all these coaches made to our successes over the past 4 years. As a collective group, we did not meet the high standards that had been set for us this past year, and my focus is now doing what is needed to ensure a successful 2023 season. These were all very difficult decisions, but something I felt was necessary for our football team going forward. And one of those decisions was letting go of Byron Leftwich, the old Marshall quarterback, who's done pretty well in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl as an offensive coordinator a couple of years ago with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. So that was 4 years for Leftwich um, in Tampa, and now he's gone. So Tampa Bay has been a kind of curious, even for the NFL, been a curious spot to watch. And that's why I want. Well, that's why I wonder a little bit if what will happen specifically to Tampa with Todd Monken. But we'll just see. I was talking with another reporter earlier today, and we were talking about, and this is not really anything other folks don't know. I mean, Todd Monken makes a little bit more than $2 million a year at Georgia currently. Um, they could, I mean, they increased his pay by 60% a year ago. And, increasing it by 60% this year would get him very close to $3 million. I mean, put him right on top of 3 million or right over it. So he would be that would be a significant pay jump. I don't know that that would happen in back-to-back seasons at Georgia, but we're seeing more and more that the college ranks, the 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 price for coaches continues to go higher. I don't think anybody's really outside of Kirby Smart proven themselves as much or more as Todd Monken over the last 3 years in college football. I mean, Nick Saban, I guess, but other than that, I mean, really, who? Todd Monken's had a great run. I'm probably within 200 books of not having confetti. Okay, so get double dog if you want the confetti. We're talking about. I'm not going to have it. Maybe certainly by Monday, and it might be very quickly here that we don't have any remaining. Now, everybody's not going to get the same exact stuff. I've got a box of confetti. It's not all going to be the same necessarily, but if you want double dogs and you want to get that particular value, the confetti from the field, go ahead and punch the purchase button now. Because again, and I've been saying this for days now. Once I get to a particular number and I know what that number is, I just don't feel comfortable saying I have confetti anymore. So you have been noted. One thing that's in the book, by the way, um, the Ohio State game is one of the most consequential games in Georgia history and perhaps college football history. We don't know what the future will hold, but um, Todd Monken is heavily featured in that Ohio State game. It was just some observations that I had standing by him during the celebration, watching him interact with the guys, listening to what he was saying to Jalen Carter. All of those things are in the book. You want to make sure and some of the stuff that he said before the game too. Todd Monken is a heck of an interview. Pick that up today. Now, you don't have to get it today, right? But if confetti, it's go time. Why would Todd leave Georgia? There's a couple of reasons. It's not necessarily going to be money, okay? Because Georgia has, that money right now is not really an issue at the University of Georgia's athletic department. But the nuanced part of this is NFL guys, they don't have to work as hard for 12 months the way college guys do. And I was talking to a different reporter who gave this insight on one coach in college who just kind of wanted to get out of it. Was they were, you're in the world of recruiting a lot, and the world of recruiting now deals with NIL deals. There's a lot going on in college athletics that wasn't there the last time Todd Monken was in college football. So things have changed. Now, what that really means for Todd Monken, I don't know. I mean, Todd Monken is not out there on the trail all the time. I mean, he is essentially recruiting quarterbacks, and they get about one a cycle. So you're not talking about he's not out there breakneck speed like Kirby or Del McGee or Todd Hartley or Brian McClendon. You know, he's got specific guys that he's going to be recruiting. So that is an issue. I'm not sure it's an issue the way it would be, if you're an offensive line coach or something like that. That is also on top of all of that, you're talking about the situation at Georgia is extremely stable. The situation in Tampa Bay obviously is not. So Todd's time at Georgia has been stable the entire time. They've lost 3 games in 3 years. Now, a lot of that is because of Todd Monken, but it is hard to coach in college football now. It was hard 10 years ago. The pressure and the nonstop work, so to speak, that you're getting along the way, it's asking a lot of these guys, man. And they are paid well, no question. They are paid well, but I don't know if sometimes I don't know if the money is worth it. There is a particular fatigue that is set in college football coaching that I don't know if everyone is going to continue in college coaching. It's a good question because, when you're winning in a big way, everything's a lot of fun, right? But when you're not, and you're trying to either turn something around, get over the hump, and you're negotiating with an 18-year-old or a 16, 17-year-old young man, or you are trying to stop guys from going to the transfer portal. I personally do not get too wrapped up or involved in the resentment of the new part of college football. There's a lot of people that do. They are typically older, and that's their prerogative. But the reality is that Monken, Kirby, etc., have to deal with that every day, and that's not something you deal with in the NFL. I know plenty of college coaches. Their kind of main point, I guess you could say, is the herding of cats that is college athletics. Is I don't want to say babysitting, but the making certain that certain things are happening that would never happen in the NFL. I mean, you're not making sure guys are going to class in the NFL. There's a lot of things that change once you become a professional athlete. And I was watching John Theus practice one time. Actually, no, it was Brent Benedict. and this was in 2010. And one of the offensive line coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the time, his son went to bowls. Well, here's the dad at the spring bowls, game, or the practice, I should say. And we talked for a while about a lot of different stuff. And his point about the NFL versus college football is, in the off season, he just goes home. Like, there's no, you know, I got to be up there at 7 o'clock, or I got to be on my phone. No, when it's time to go home, it's time to go home, and that's it. I mean, the NFL has an off season for coaches. College football doesn't. And we in doing, I don't have to work as hard as the coaches. I think that's clear. But I work plenty hard enough, and the jobs are different. But there is a finite amount of time where college football isn't consistently going on. I mean, Georgia played the national championship 10 days ago, I think it was. Yeah. There's not been a single day that something hasn't happened for Georgia. Period. Some horrific and tragic, some celebratory, some whatever. But there's not been a day in this offseason so far where that's not happened. In the NFL, guys are done. I mean, they're not going to be back until March, if then. So that's the difference. Is you're not having to do quite the same strain in the NFL as you are in college football, and that's just all there is to it. Hey, get double dogs today if you want confetti.